Hello there fine folks and welcome to a brand new video. Before we begin, I want to give you all some important context. This video is actually not quite brand new. I made it last year and debuted it at BLFC for my Dungeon Dining panel, but I never uploaded it to the main channel because it was made especially for that panel, addressing the audience and such. So that being the case, there are some repeated recipes in previous videos, but there's some new stuff in here too, which I hope you all enjoy. And you might be wondering, why am I dressed like Doctor Who right now? Well, because I want to be. In any which case, let's begin the show. Hello and welcome to Dungeon Dining with me, the Dragon, Still Rice. And welcome you lovely folks from BLFC. Well then folks, today as you should know, we're talking about aromatics. Now most people have staples at home, be it paprika, salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, etc. And those staples can vary depending on what you grew up eating. But a staple I don't see talked about enough, in my opinion at least, is aromatics. I want to show you folks today the versatility of aromatics, be them whole or be them grounded. You can use them for sweet and for savory foods. So then folks, just to get my point across, we're going to use 4 aromatics for 3 separate foods. And to balance things out a bit, we're going to use whole cinnamon, whole star anise, and ground cloves and ground coriander. These recipes are tried and true with me. And the especially great thing folks is that they're delicious and easy to put together. Today we're making a cheap pulled pork, some chicken pho, and lastly a root soda. My own recipe that I call Rootin Tootin. Like I said, depending on your staples at home, these things might be very cheap to make. The root soda I made on a whim because most of the ingredients I already have right at home. And sometimes at home I have onions on hand, so that makes the pho even cheaper too. But now, with all that context, we should get ourselves to cooking. I'll see y'all later tonight. Alrighty folks, it is time for our first dish. And this one we are cooking overnight. So right now it is 1:45 at night, and we're cooking this dish in the good old crock pot. Our ingredients are going to be very simple, but mind you, this is going to be really tasty. We're going to be making some pulled pork with this picnic roast. It is just shy of 2 pounds. But before we cut it, let's say goodbye to these paws. Oh, and pardon the pajamas. I'm not going to get fully dressed for 1 in the morning. But with that, I did prepare myself a homemade barbecue sauce. Okay, so before we cut this thing up, I want to tell you all my game plan. I'm going to slice up this picnic roast and put in here a cup's worth of barbecue sauce, half a tablespoon's worth each of onion and garlic powder, a quarter cup of brown sugar, and very importantly, our aromatics. Speaking of which, I'll throw them in there first. So we have here 2 cinnamon sticks. Next, our star anise. I'm going to throw in 3 of them. 1, 2, oh wait, third one's in there already. And lastly, a teaspoon's worth of coriander and a quarter teaspoon of cloves. Bear in mind, it's mixing the brown sugar right there. So, there we go. Those as well. Now, if you have a preferred barbecue sauce at home, feel free to use that. But you folks at BLFC should have the ingredients list. There we go. And before the slicing, a little drizzle of oil. So then, let's cut this thing. Wow, that was easy! And now to put all those meats in with the sauce. And those aromatics are going to make a difference for flavor. Let's mix everything together real fast. And technology will do the rest. Let me wash my hands real fast. So then, let's plug this sucker in. Get a quick shot of it. And lastly, let's put a lid on it. Now, personally for me, with slow cooking pork, I can do it anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. Now, if I oversleep and say cook it for 10 to 12 hours, depending on the meat, it might actually make it a little bit better. Just make sure you don't burn things. That's why I added a little bit of oil there to begin with. Alrighty folks, it's about 2 in the morning. I'm gonna get myself to bed. When I get up, I will check on this. After which I'm going to work on our other 2 aromatic dishes. So in which case, I will see you all soon. Oh, and not to forget, we have right here a frozen rotisserie chicken. We're gonna let that defrost because we're gonna need it in the morning. But I'm tired, y'all. I'm gonna see you later. I'm going to bed.
Hello there folks, an extra note from me. I was meant to have the crock pot on the low setting, but I didn't realize I had it on high. Now the meat's still going to come out good, but bear in mind it's a little drier than I wanted. But still enjoyable all the same.
Good morning folks, it is 11:47 in the morning. Meaning we spent about 9 hours and 47 minutes cooking this stuff. So now let's finally unplug it. Alright then, here we go. Boy, that smells great. Pulling those out right there. Oh man, here we freaking go. Now folks, this pork we're going to use to make some sandwiches. For now it's going to go aside, but here we have our pulled pork. The great thing here, folks, is that you can smell the aromatics wafting from the meat. Put those aside for now. And it's on to dish number 2. Our chicken pho. So folks, do you remember that rotisserie chicken from last night? Well, I took that thing and shredded its meat. Here's the meat, and here's the bones and skin. The bones, skin, and drippings are going to be for our broth. But the meat's going to be the garnish for our soup. But I would say the most recognizable thing about a pho broth is its fragrance. And speaking of which, here it is, the fragrance of a pho broth. Now every one of these I charred on this electric burner right here. And that just opens and releases their flavor. So we have right here, folks, 2 small yellow onions, a whole bulb of garlic, 1 ginger root, and an extra aromatic here, the peels of 2 oranges, and for our main aromatics, 3 cinnamon sticks. I also charred those, and 6 star anise. And for our powdered aromatics, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves and 2 teaspoons of coriander. In this pot right here, folks, I have 11 cups of water. So let's put that all in. Woo! There we go. We also have here 1½ tablespoons of chicken bouillon powder for extra flavor. Now, pho recipes typically have rock sugar in them. But I'm sure most of you at home don't have rock sugar. So I have right here brown sugar. It's essentially the same stuff in a different form. And that's a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to add some MSG to taste. And I cannot forget a 1/4 cup of fish sauce. And y'all want a good brand of fish sauce. I have Squid brand right here. Now you're probably wondering, still, if you love fish sauce so much, why do you have a new bottle? Well folks, that question requires a simple answer. I finished my last bottle yesterday. Now I've made this recipe before, but I'm going to add a little something else. A 1/4 cup of soy sauce. For a punch of salt. And now, our bones. Careful. There we go. And with that 11 cups of water and all the stuff in there, it rose up to the max line for the Insta-Pot. My roommate is letting me borrow this. I don't want to break his stuff. So, look at that. So, let's put that on pressure cook. Now, when I last did this, I did it for an hour and a half. But because I'm crunched for time and I want to experiment a little, I'm going to do it for just an hour. Now, folks, if you want to make pho quickly, this should do the trick. Now, personally, I would say making pho for over 8 hours is better, but this is still delicious. Now, this is building up pressure, but in the meantime, we're going to make our last dish. Well, less a dish, we're making a beverage. We're making our Rootin Tootin soda. And like the rest of these, it's going to be quick and simple. So real fast, a quick jump cut. Alrighty, we are back. We have right here 2 cups of water. stewing with most of our aromatics. We got 2 cinnamon sticks in there and 4-star anise. And also a thumb's worth of ginger. Literally about as much as your thumb. Now this is probably the simplest recipe we have on hand today. And it's the quickest. For our other 2 main aromatics, we have here a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. And right here, 1/2 tablespoon of coriander. So what we're doing for a soda is that we're going to make a soda syrup and then add it to seltzer water. So in essence, we're making a super sweet tea. And what's a root soda without roots? So boom. Oh, and aside from the coriander, I have here 1/2 tablespoon of cardamom. If you made this at home and needed to leave out anything, I'd say you can leave out the cardamom. But it does add nice flavor. And one last root, we have ourselves a tablespoon's worth of vanilla extract. And with that bowl also came 1/2 tablespoon's worth of rum extract. And for the sweet element of our soda syrup, we have here sugar. Now the ratio for soda syrups for me typically is 2 parts water and 3 parts sugar. We have here 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar for extra flavor. So in they go too. Wonderful. Now we're going to let that stew for 10 to 20 minutes. And otherwise, I just got to clean up and wait for these 2 to be done. So folks, I will see you here soon enough. Alrighty folks, at the finish line, everything is set up and ready. Our pho broth's done, we have our meats, and we have our soda. And to start off with, let's finish that up. We have our seltzer water, our chilled and contained soda syrup, and a glass of soda syrup ready. Now my typical measurement is about an 1/8 soda syrup and the rest is seltzer water. Or a 1/6 if you want it sweeter. Just gonna keep giving that a good stir. And we have here folks our Rootin Tootin soda. Putting that down. And also our pulled pork sandwiches right here. I toasted the buns. And what I'm most excited for are chicken pho. So while this was brewing, I cooked us some rice noodles. I put those noodles in this bowl right here and put some chicken on top. And rice noodles thankfully cook very quickly. We have here some green onions and lime for garnish. There's a myriad of garnishes for pho, but I'm going simple. Got a mesh stringer and a ladle. Look at the rich color in there. And you do not want a pho broth to be cloudy. Thankfully, this is not. It's gonna take me a second there. Alright, gonna say goodbye to the pods for a second. Move the noodles around a little bit. Gonna throw in those chives. You need a squeeze of lime. And not to forget, even hoisin sauce and sriracha. There we go. Whew! Okay, everything there is said and done. Here we have, folks, our Ecstatic Aromatics. So then, folks, with these done, I think it's time to try them. Alrighty. Almost forgot I need a soup spoon. First, let's try that broth real fast. Got all the flavor packs in there. What you need. And a good bite. Good chicken. Get my full trooper now. Phó Gà, folks. Delicious. And if you want, if you have any chicken bones in your freezer, I'd say throw them in there for some extra chickeny flavor. When I tried this as an experiment first, that's just what I did. But I wanted to use only what we got for the recipe when doing it on camera. All that. Oh, one more. All that. Have a little cold refreshment with our Rootin Tootin soda. Oh, I love that one. That one's so good. It's so. I don't know what it is. Sorry. Just having it after that. I'm like, oh, some surprisingly tastes great. But we have here as well our pulled pork, our pork shoulder, our picnic roast. Now, I do some mayonnaise. I mean, all these, you could taste the cinnamon. Sorry, full mouth. What's great here is in all three of these, you can taste the cinnamon, the star anise, the coriander and cloves. You got a hint of everything there, and they all play a different role in their respective recipes. For the soda, it's the flavor. For the meat and for the pho, it's fragrance. And even the fragrance for the pho is different in having burned them a little bit before putting them in the broth. Now, one more sip for myself. I think it's time to get back to Dragon. Alrighty then. And once you look at that, folks, we made our 3 dishes with our aromatics. And now you can see just how much you can do with all 4. And they were all delicious. And shoot, that's just 4 aromatics. You notice with the pho how I used an extra aromatic. I used orange peels. If I have oranges on hand, I like to save those. And as aromatics go, they are practically for free. And shoot, if you can't afford whole aromatics, that's okay. As you can see, the ground ones, while not preferable, are still super helpful. And a little bit of fragrance goes a long way in a dish. And I hope that you lovely folks go out there and try experimenting. Having filling, tasty food should not cost you an arm and a leg. It just takes some knowledge and some techniques. And that in of itself should also go a long way. But then, in any case, thank you folks very much for watching. And I'll see you next time in my dungeon.